Hello and welcome to Cumulative Update, your source for the latest Office 365 changes and tech industry news. Let's talk about new Office 365 changes. Let's do that, yes. Okay, just do that. Okay. So I'm going to go over the changes that have happened in the last week to Office 365. These are all available through the Microsoft 365 Admin Center. Yeah, without further ado, let's get started. Power Platform Data Loss Prevention Policy available to all Dataverse for Teams environments. In March 2021, we added a PowerShell solution that applies data loss prevention DLP policy to all Dataverse for Teams environments within a tenant. This allows admins to better control their organization's data without hindering makers' ability to create low-code and no-code solutions within Teams. Find more details about the PowerShell solution and how to apply it by viewing our documentation. Always for additional data loss prevention policies. Let me just fix my camera. There we go. Let's go up. Updated Outlook for iOS and Android. Sync additional contact folders as category labels. As we announced in December 2019, users who have set up additional contact folders in Outlook on the web or in Outlook for Windows or Mac see those folders as a new category in Outlook Mobile, iOS, and Android. The category label corresponds to the folder name in Outlook on the web or Outlook for Windows or Mac. This rollout has been delayed to ensure a quality experience for our customers. We apologize for any inconvenience. In addition, we would like to provide updated information about this feature. End of January through end of April was February. Rollout device level action, review, and assess. I wonder if that was related in any way to some issues that the Outlook Android app at least was having with sharing things. You could share links from the browser directly to a message in Outlook, and it would bork the URL. Fun stuff, eh? How will this affect your organization? Users who have set up additional contact folders in Outlook on the web or Outlook for Windows or Mac will see those folders as new categories in Outlook Mobile. The category label will correspond to the folder name. As part of the synchronization, each category is assigned a color. If the user has created a single additional contact folder, we will create a category and assign it a category color. If the user has created multiple folders, we will create a category for each folder and assign it to the associated contacts. Users will have the option to upgrade those categories and assign them a color if needed. Changes to category labels in Outlook Mobile will not affect folders in the other Outlook experiences. Users will see changes to the contact list by navigating to the search, people, iOS, or by navigating to contacts, Android. You might want to notify the users about it. And let's go up. This is another comment about the Power Platform Data Loss Prevention Policy available to all Dataverse for Teams environments. It's just saying that the change is available now, probably specifically for more tenant. Announcing new self-service products, Microsoft 365 Suite. Today we are announcing that self-service purchasing capabilities are coming soon. Individuals worldwide, excluding India, will be able to acquire a subscription for these products as early as April 19th, 2021. Power BI Premium per user, Power Automate per user plan with attended RPA. As an administrator, if you prefer to limit these capabilities, you can do so on a per product basis starting today via PowerShell. You can also take control of any of your users' self-service purchases, allowing you to move them from a self-service purchase to another license or to cancel their subscriptions completely. Self-service purchase capabilities are not available for customers who are not eligible for government or education offers. If this applies to your organization, no additional action is required to control self-service purchase at this time. For questions about self-service purchase, including how it may impact your organization, please refer to the self-service purchase FAQ. I would say double check. Double check, because I know they say government and education only, but I've seen things in the past where that's not necessarily the case. So double check that. But I guess if you don't have to do it by then that's fine too. Teams desktop date/time format matches Mac and Windows OS language settings. An update from Microsoft Teams. With this update, date/time formats in Teams will match the Mac and Windows OS regional settings on desktop. Previously, Teams would only show date/time in the format corresponding to the application language. Rollout starts mid-April and completes in late April. No, only the Gregorian calendar is supported, regardless of the OS calendar setting. Good to know. Windows Update for Business Deployment Service public preview available. Microsoft Windows is the service. The public preview of Windows Update for Business Deployment Service will begin rolling out to customers in the second half of April 2021. This new service provides new Microsoft Graph APIs for managing the approval, schedule, and safeguarding of Windows 10 feature updates for cloud-connected devices. This release will include new APIs available through the Microsoft Graph beta endpoint. So not official, because you're not supposed to use beta endpoints in production. So why are you informing us now? Just give it to us and have it working in production rather than the beta endpoints. To use the service, your organization must have one or more of the following subscriptions: Windows 10 Enterprise E3 or E5, included in Microsoft 365 F3, E3, or E5. Windows 10 Education A3 or A5, included in MS 365 A3 or A5. Windows Virtual Desktop Access E3 or E5. The service ban will begin backfiling to eligible customers on April 15, 2021. These are opt-in capabilities, and tenants should experience no impact from this release unless they choose to begin using the deployment service for update management. Microsoft lists new integrated drop-down menu powered by SharePoint. Service SharePoint Online. As part of updating the command bar at the top of Microsoft lists, we are introducing a new top-level menu item, Integrate. This is the home for features that help extend list experiences. Targeted release organizations rollout begins late March. Standard release rollout should be completed by mid-April. The existing command buttons for Power Apps and Power Automate will move into Integrate. Once the new experience is available, the Power Apps menu option will disappear, and users will need to navigate to the Integrate menu option to access both Power Apps and Power Automate. You will have to update your end user documentation regarding that. Update on user voice sites, Microsoft 365 Suite. Microsoft has partnered with User Voice, a third-party service, to communicate with customers and collect feedback. We will be moving away from user voice feedback sites throughout the 2021 calendar year on a product-by-product basis as we look into move to first-party solutions. We have a variety of channels that allow customers to communicate with us. Please see the full list of alternatives here. Let's take a quick look at what so it's saying including in-product experiences, Windows Feedback Hub, the Microsoft Tech Community, Microsoft Store, Microsoft Q&A. I'm not familiar with Microsoft Q&A. This seems pointless. These I've had experience submitting support tickets for seeking to fix issues with SharePoint Online. Uh, that has taken months to get to the proper person and then fixed. I actually ended up submitting the hot tip of what was broken not through any of these feedback methods. I actually submitted it through Microsoft's GitHub. So I suggest if you notice any application issues, submit those to GitHub, even just like the user documentation, because it actually gets reviewed by somebody who can maybe contact somebody who to fix it. Their support people, I mean, this may have changed, but my understanding is that there's no communication between their support team, at least for SharePoint Online and Microsoft 365, and the individual product teams. That may have changed since they shut down this user voice thing. I've had experiences where SharePoint Online is broken, not just for the one tenant, but for multiple tenants on the like standard release. I've submitted a ticket, submitted a issue to the messaging center, and their response has been submit a user voice issue complaint. That is not good product support, especially because I mean I've even tried using like partner support, and it just takes you to Office 365 like general support, the same support that you submit if you just have like a tenant license and you go to help and talk to Microsoft support. So yeah, Q&A again. I mean, this looks like, let's go to feedback real quick. Yeah, I mean, there's voting stuff here, but yeah, like the tech community again, like great if it's not like an urgent issue, but if you've gone through like the technical steps and you're like, look, something's broken in the actual like source JavaScript, because it now runs on JavaScript SharePoint for the modern UI, like submit to GitHub. That's the quickest response I've seen. And again, I guess rather than months, you're talking about like 2 to 4 weeks of a response time of, oh, we'll take a look at it. We've gotten it to somebody who can actually do something about it. Not it's fixed in that time. And that, to be honest, for an enterprise product is unacceptable. Well, what can you do, right? So you can still submit things to user voice while they're up, but you should probably take the other routes. Updated Planner Mobile Push Notification Update Service Planner. Updated March 23rd, 2021. We have updated the rollout time below. Thank you for your patience. We are updating the delivery method for mobile push notifications in the Planner mobile apps for iOS and Android. Notifications from these apps will be delivered by a direct push method where the contents of the notification will be sent to the mobile device over Apple and Google push notification services. End users will see no changes to their existing user experience with Planner. Notification content may include task name, plan name, assigner name. We will begin rolling this out in late March and expect to complete the rollout by late April. Previously, that was mid-March and mid-April. We are adding a tenant admin switch for Planner mobile app push notifications. While by default Planner mobile app push notifications are enabled, a tenant can toggle the switch to disable Planner app mobile push notifications for their tenancy. Okay. Next. Expanding access to My Day from Outlook on the web to Office.com. We are expanding access to My Day from Outlook on the web to Office.com. This message is associated with Microsoft Roadmap ID 72174. Targeted release late March. Standard release ending in early May. My Day is a summary panel that currently provides quick access to calendar events and tasks while using Outlook on the web. With this update, end users will also be able to access the information across Office.com. Toggle the panel on or off from the My Day icon in the Office Suite header, then switch from calendar events to to-do tasks. You might want to notify your users about this new capability and update your training and documentation as appropriate. Microsoft Teams call merge for Microsoft Teams service. Call merge gives end users the capability to merge their active unheld one-to-one calls into another one-to-one call or another group call. This applies to team VoIP calls and PSTN calls. This feature will start rolling out in late March and will complete rollout by mid-April. Once available, users will now have the ability to merge calls. I want to update your training documentation. Microsoft Teams to allow only organization participants to bypass the meeting lobby. With this update, meeting organizers can allow only organization members to bypass the lobby. As the other lobby options, you can set this as the default in your organization via the Teams Admin Center. Documentation will be updated in April. Rollout begins late March and should be completed by early April. And it's applicable to the Teams desktop app, Teams mobile app, and Teams on the web. Microsoft 365 Compliance Center updates to Content Search, Core eDiscovery, and Advanced eDiscovery user experience. We are updating the user experience for Content Search, Core eDiscovery, and Advanced eDiscovery in Microsoft 365 Compliance Center to better align with web content accessibility guidelines. Rollout will begin mid-April and is expected to be completed by end of April. With this user experience update, we aim to provide easier navigation experiences across all Microsoft eDiscovery solutions in the Microsoft 365 Compliance Center, while ensuring all your existing day-to-day discovery workflows continue to empower your users. Below are some of the changes your users will see after this user experience update. Currently, users navigate to each search to view search statistics. With this update, search statistics, including estimated search results, condition reports, and top locations, are immediately displayed on the Search Statistics tab next to the Search Summary tab for easier viewability and navigation. Currently, users navigate to cases, searches, view results, and Core eDiscovery to view search statistics. With this update, the search statistics, including estimated search results, condition reports, and top locations, are immediately displayed on the case, searches, search statistics tab for easier viewability and navigation. The new user experience for Core eDiscovery is also better aligned with Advanced eDiscovery for consistent and accessible user experience. The option to switch to the legacy UI for hold, searches, and export is no longer available in Core eDiscovery. You'll be able to use the new user experience for Core eDiscovery cases. We've also moved the case management settings from the case flyout page to the Settings tab. You will need to update training documentation. Create and use approval templates in the Teams Approval app, Microsoft Teams. Tenant admins and team owners will have access to out-of-the-box templates in the Teams Approval app with this update. Templates make it easier for end users to create and submit an approval request. The Approvals app, which is available as a personal app for all Microsoft Teams users, provides a simple way to bring auditing, compliance, accountability, and workflow to both structured and unstructured approvals in Teams. The approval app templates will be generally available mid-April. Teams admins and owners can quickly create an approval template by selecting from out-of-the-box templates or by creating one from scratch within the Approvals app. Access template management via the overflow menu. Tenant admins or team owners will need to create and publish templates within the Approvals app. You might want to notify your users about this new capability and update your training documentation as appropriate. We are supporting third-party electronic signatures in the Teams Approval app. There may be times when managers need more formal attestation, such as a signature, before being able to act on an approval request. We're working closely with key partners to allow Teams admins to enable electronic signature support within the Microsoft Teams Approval app, desktop and web. In mid-April, the Approvals app will support Adobe Sign. We are adding a new type of approval request, e-signature approval. This is in addition to the existing basic and templated approvals and works for approvals inside or outside of the organization. When a team admin has added a provider such as Adobe Sign, that provider will be able to be available in the Approvals app when a signature is needed. The Approvals app will track the entire workflow in context within Teams. Adobe will send an email to anyone listed as a signer on the request, stating that there is a request for their signature. Internal signers will also get a Teams notification. You must enable user credentials before anyone in your tenant will be able to use the Adobe Sign feature within Approvals. Third-party signature partners will appear in the Teams Approval app by default. Should a team admin disable a provider, end users will not see the provider when creating an approval. You can disable providers during the public preview period. Although Adobe Sign is our first partner, we expect to onboard DocuSign soon. We will communicate that with a new message center post. Microsoft Whiteboard now available on Android. We are excited to share that Microsoft Whiteboard for Android has launched in public preview and is available in the Google Play Store for download. Now customers can ideate, create, and collaborate on the most popular mobile platform. This is available now in the Google Play Store. Whiteboard for Android users lets users draw or write naturally with ink, collaborate, and communicate their thoughts better with text and sticky notes. It also enhances teamwork by allowing team members to edit the canvas in real time no matter where they are. Whiteboard for Android requires a login with a work or school account. Supports Android 6.0, Marshmallow, or later. Exact data match to support customer managed key public preview, Microsoft 365 suite. You will now be able to encrypt exact data match EDM data using your own customer managed key, CMK, further enhancing EDM's data security. Rollout will begin in late March and is expected to be completed by early April. If your organization has set up CMK, currently in public preview, your EDM data will be more secure as it will be automatically encrypted using a CMK. EDM content is encrypted using the EMD content that is encrypted using the CMK Includes the data file name schemas, rule packages, and the salts, which are used in hashing the sensitive data being protected. Configure sensitivity labels for encrypt-only protection on Outlook messages. You will be able to create labels within Microsoft 365 Compliance Center that enforce encrypt-only restriction when applied to Outlook email messages. This message applies to Outlook desktop, mobile, and on the web. Rollout will begin in late March and is expected to be completed by early May. How will this affect your organization? With the encrypt-only restriction available within Office 365 message encryption, users can send encrypted email to any recipient, whether the recipient is inside or outside of the organization. The protection follows the life cycle follows the life cycle of the email. You will be able to create labels in the Microsoft 365 Compliance Center that enforce this encrypt-only setting on Outlook email messages. You might want to notify your users about this new capability and update your training document and documentation as appropriate. Dynamics 365 Service Update for Canada. 2021 Release Wave 1. We have a service update planned for your Microsoft Dynamics 365 environment in the Canada region. This update includes the 2021 Release Wave 1 automatic feature enablement. All environments will be automatically turned on to receive the mandatory update, which will enable the features of this release. See our documentation for Dynamics 365 2021 Release Wave 1. Plan for more information. Maintenance window starts April 3rd, 1 UTC. Maintenance window ends April 3rd, 10 UTC. As part of the service update, the following feature areas may be affected. The version number for your Dynamics 365 environment will update to 9.2.21034.00101 or higher after the background database operation is complete. Although there is no expected degradation to service performance of availability, the service update is planned outside normal business hours to help minimize any potential impact to your environment. That is usually false. Usually for Dynamics updates, things tend to go down during that maintenance period. So I would be careful during that maintenance period of making major changes to Dynamics. Minor changes like data input and stuff like that, probably okay. But experience in the past is that when this stuff happens, sometimes Dynamics just works. Expanded emoji picker in Microsoft Teams. The expanded emoji update brings the users the fun and expressiveness they love into their Teams messages. Along with a wider range of diverse emojis, a necessity for our diverse and widespread user base, the expansion is available for Teams, desktop apps, mobile, and on the web. They added like 10, from 85 to 800. We have also added a skin tone selector for applicable emojis. And there's now a search box and categories. Yeah. And you can start putting in an emoji by doing a curved bracket, so that shift 9 and starting to type what you want the thing to show. Okay. Multiple spotlights coming to Teams meetings, Microsoft Teams. This release of multiple spotlights in Teams meetings will allow organizers and presenters to spotlight up to 7 participants simultaneously for everyone to see during meetings, and will roll out across Microsoft Teams desktop and on the web. This feature will roll out from mid-April through the end of April. How will this affect your organization? Users, when they are meeting presenters or organizers, can now spotlight more participants in Teams meetings than ever before. The spotlighting of selected participants will be maintained on their videos or avatars for everyone to see until turned off by the presenter or organizer. Start spotlight on multiple participants by accessing their context menu from the participant roster or from the stage. Stop individual spotlights or stop all spotlights in bulk from the roster. Spotlight a maximum of 7 participants simultaneously in a meeting. Update your documentation. New release cycles and options for Microsoft Edge, Microsoft 365 suite. We're making some changes to the release cycle cadence for the Microsoft Edge browser application. Expected to start with Microsoft Edge major version 94, we will be adopting Chromium's new 4-week major release cadence. Additionally, we will offer an 8-week major release extended stable option for enterprise customers looking for a longer timeline to manage updates. Once this change occurs, Microsoft Edge will move from a 6-week major release cadence to a 4-week major release cadence. Additionally, a new 8-week extended stable option will become available. You will still be able to update Microsoft Edge automatically using Microsoft Edge update policies. Starting with Microsoft Edge 94, major version updates will be published to Windows WS every 4 weeks. Yammer to retire support for Internet Explorer in August 2021. Internet Explorer is getting retired this year. As previously announced by Microsoft in August 2020, along with other Microsoft 365 apps and services, Yammer will be retiring support for Internet Explorer 11 in August 2021. Customers should use the new Microsoft Edge or another modern browser. As an FYI, I learned recently that Firefox does not work with Teams calls, so stay away from Firefox. Suggest Edge or Chrome. RBAC for external admins in Microsoft Cloud App Security is changing. Microsoft Cloud App Security is aligning with other Microsoft security products that use Azure AD B2B when working with external admins. Using Azure AD B2B allows your organization to improve its security in accordance with best practices and apply governance policies to external administrators. Key points. We will be rolling this change at the end of April and expect to be completed by mid-May. Review and assess the impact for your organization. If your organization is directly impacted by this change, you will receive a notification via Message Center. If you do not receive a targeted message stating your tenant is affected, please take note of this process for any future implementations of external admins for your environment. How does this affect your organization? After the change, external admin will be configured through Azure AD B2B as opposed to MCAS. Existing external admin will need to be reconfigured in Azure AD B2B. We will be notifying tenants who will be impacted, as they will have 60 days from this change to make the appropriate updates. What you need to do to prepare. Integration with Azure AD B2B allows organizations to invite external admins to Azure AD as guest users. Once invited and assigned an account, a guest can then be added to your cloud app security tenant. To configure external admins, see the documentation provided here. Invite external admins. March 2021 Windows Non-Security Preview CE release is available for some versions of Windows 10. The March 2021 monthly C release preview updates are now available for Windows 10 version 1909 and version 1809. The preview update for Windows 10 version 20H2 and 2004 will be available in the near term. Release notes associated with these updates might publish with a delay of up to an hour after the updates are available for download. For more information on the different types of monthly quality updates, see our Windows 10 updating service cadence primer. Hello at Windows Update for the latest on the availability of this release. Updated Microsoft Teams desktop app for Mac. Include computer sound in a meeting. Updated March 25th, 2021. We have updated the rollout timeline below. Thank you for your patience. The Microsoft Teams desktop app for Mac OS will soon allow users to include their computer's sound when sharing either their desktop or window in a meeting. Rollout for production and GCC tenants begins in early April, previously late March, and should be completed by late early, previously early April. Rollout for GCCH and DoD, Department of Defense tenants, begins in late April, previously mid-February, and should be completed by early May, previously late February. With this update, Mac users can share audio from their speakers with other meeting participants, such as when they share a video with sound as part of a collective viewing experience. This feature will be available to all Mac users in your tenant, unless you have the screen sharing mode policy to none. This feature requires a one-time installation of an audio driver. Users will be prompted to install the audio driver when they select to include computer sound from the share content tray in a meeting. Once installed, users can freely toggle the functionality on or off before or after they start sharing a desktop or window. Update. Introducing Intellect file recommendations for Planner. Based on learnings from our early rings, we have made the decision to make additional changes before we proceed with the rollout. We will deliver a new message center post once we restart the rollout. Thank you for your patience. This new planner features allows users to quickly add attachments to their tasks from an intelligently curated list of relevant files. The recommendations are based on the task and the user. Updated text predictions in Word for Windows, Microsoft 365 apps, and Office for the web. We have updated the rollout timeline below. Thank you for your patience. In December 2020, we announced that Outlook for Windows was adding text predictions during composition by incorporating intelligent technology to help users write more efficiently by predicting text quickly and accurately. We're now excited to announce that text predictions will soon be available in Word for Windows when writing documents in English. When this will happen: current channel preview February, current channel May, previously March. When this feature rolls out, users will see text predictions when writing documents in English. When they see the suggested text, users can accept by tapping Tab, or they can ignore the suggestion by simply continuing to type. Text predictions help users write more efficiently by predicting text quickly and accurately. The feature reduces spelling and grammar errors and learns over time to give the best recommendations based on your writing style. Text predictions are on by default, and users can disable them as needed by selecting text predictions on in the status bar and switch off show text predictions while typing. Additionally, text predictions, Microsoft 365 connected experience, can be turned off by going to any Microsoft 365 application such as Word, Excel, or PowerPoint and going to File, Account, Manage Settings. This feature can also be managed through the policy settings for privacy controls. Disabling this feature on one endpoint of Word will not affect other endpoints. You may want to notify your users about this new capability and update your training and documentation as appropriate. Updated. Allowing anonymous presenters in Teams live events. Updated March 25th, 2021. We have determined that this message did not go to the correct audience. You can safely disregard this message. We will send a new message, send our message to the correct audience. We apologize for any confusion. Okay. skip over that. Go local support for live events. Microsoft Teams. Updated March 25th, 2021. Messages did not go out to the right people. Okay. What's new in the Microsoft Intune service update for March 2021? Your Microsoft Intune account has been updated to the latest service build. How does this affect me? You will see the service release number updated in the tenant status blade of the Intune console. We've introduced some changes that we're excited for you to try out. Click additional information below to learn about more what's new in this service release. We'll continue to update the what's new page with any features that are released between now and the next monthly service update. More information on how Intune service updates each month is in this blog post, Microsoft Intune service updates. Windows release health on Microsoft 365 Admin Center. For Microsoft Windows. Today marks the start of the rollout of Windows Release Health to the Microsoft 365 Admin Center. We are rolling out in phases over the coming weeks, and customers will gradually see Windows Release Health available in the Help menu. In addition, Windows-related notifications will show up in the Help Message Center, and you will be able to customize notification preferences, including email notifications for up to 3 email addresses. To allow additional IT administrators in your organization to view this integrated information experience, you can assign them the role of Service Support Admin. For detailed guidance on see Assigned Admin Roles for Microsoft 365 Admin Center. While we do offer information Windows Release Health on Microsoft Docs, this new integrated Microsoft 365 Admin Center experience will offer greater technical detail about known issues, earlier reminders about important milestones like end of service, and more resources to help you plan and deploy Windows updates. Teams, voice-enabled channels, collaborative calling, Microsoft Teams. We are introducing a new feature to support voice-enabled channels, collaborative calling, in the Microsoft Teams desktop client. This feature will provide a new way of configuring call queues by allowing you to link Teams channels to call queues. This message is associated with Microsoft 365 Roadmap. We will begin rolling this out in late March and expect to complete rollout by early April. You will be able to configure call queues differently in a way that will allow the members of a channel to be automatically synchronized and set as agents for the call queue. After configuring, a new calls tab will be available to Teams desktop client for members of the channel. The new calls tab will provide a dedicated call history for agents of the call queue, showing opt-in status of cohort agents, call queues, shared voicemail if configured. This feature will not affect existing call queues, and new call queues can continue to be configured using the current configuration settings. What you need to do to prepare. This is off by default, and no action is required unless you want to configure a new voice-enabled channel. You can configure a new or existing call queue to be a voice-enabled channel by simply selecting the automatic option in Teams Admin Center call queue configuration menu when selecting a list of agents. Existing call queues will continue to retain their current configuration, which is listed as a manual option to select specific users or groups. Uh, 2021 Release Wave 1 automatic update coming soon. Microsoft Power Automate and Power Apps. Beginning on April 2nd, 2021, we will enable the 2021 Release Wave 1 features across our global customer base. For more information on new features and capabilities that will be available to you and your users, please review the 2021 Release Wave 1 plan. Environments will have the updates automatically applied to your Power Platform applications during your regional maintenance window. It will not require any action from you. Although there is no expected degradation to service performance or availability, this service update is planned outside normal business hours to help minimize potential impacts to your organization. What actions do I need to take? Communicate as appropriate with your users. To review the list of features that may impact the end user experience, you can view the Power Platform features for early access page. Supervised chat for Teams private chats. To prevent inappropriate messaging behavior, many institutions have had to disable private chat in Microsoft Teams. Now we're excited to bring this new release of Teams Supervised Chat that will block restricted users from starting new chats unless an appropriate supervisor is present. This will roll out across Microsoft Teams desktop, web, and mobile. We will begin rolling this out in mid-April and expect to complete the rollout by early May. How will this affect your organization? Supervised chat blocks restricted users from starting new chats unless an appropriate supervisor is present. When chat supervision is enabled, supervisors aren't allowed to leave chats, and other participants aren't allowed to remove them, ensuring that all chats are properly supervised. This feature can be enabled in any environment, but is ideal for educational institutions who want to ensure that students can only chat when an educator is present. To get the most from supervised chat, each user in your environment needs to be assigned a specific chat permission. These limitations are only applied to new private chats that are created after supervised chat has been fully enabled. They do not apply to existing private chats, meeting chats, nor channels. Supervised chat is by default off. Supervised chat can be enabled through Teams policies or using a PowerShell command. Improvements in managing attendee audio in Microsoft Teams meetings. Microsoft Teams. Teams meeting organizers and presenters who use the attendee audio management feature will have greater flexibility to determine when attendees can use their microphones. These updates apply to the desktop app, mobile app, and web. Rollout will begin with production and GCC tenants in early April and should be complete by late April. Rollout will begin to GCCH and DoD tenants in early May and should be completed by late May. How will this affect your organization? After scheduling a meeting and setting invitations, the meeting organizer can prevent attendees from unmuting during the meeting. With this setting enabled, all attendees, but not presenters, will be muted when they join the meeting and won't be able to unmute themselves. In the current state, attendees must raise their hand to request to speak before a meeting organizer or presenter can allow the attendee to unmute. With this update, an organizer or presenter can enable the mic of an attendee by selecting Allow to Unmute for an attendee who can't unmute, whether or not that person has raised their hand. In the current state, in order to prevent an individual attendee from unmuting, thereby disabling the attendee's mic, a meeting organizer or presenter must prevent all attendees from unmuting. With this update, the organizer or presenter can disable an individual attendee's ability to use their microphone by selecting Don't Allow to Unmute for that attendee. Later, they may enable the microphone for that attendee by selecting Allow to Unmute on the attendee. Organizers and presenters cannot prevent attendees who dial in to a meeting using the phone number provided in the meeting details from unmuting. This functionality is in development. Further, organizers and presenters joining from Teams meeting room devices still cannot modify attendee ability to use their microphone. Updating Teams live event always record recording policy. We are changing the behavior of the never record recording policy for Microsoft Teams live events. Timing, late April. Rollout, tenant level. Control type, user control and main control. Action, review and assess by April 26, 2021. How will this affect your organization? Before this update, the Teams live events organizer could enable attendee recordings despite you having set the Teams live events recording policy to never record. With this change, when the Teams live event recording policy is set to never record, all live events will have the recordings disabled for everyone, the presenter, organizer, and attendees. There are now 3 policy settings: always record, never, organizer can record or not. In the left navigation of the Teams Admin Center, go to Meetings, the live event policies, set the recording policy to organizer can record or not if you wish to grant Teams live event organizers the ability to choose whether or not to record a live event. If you do not wish to grant organizers that autonomy, then use the never record policy. You can also manage these policies using Windows PowerShell. Microsoft Forms correct answer choice in Teams meeting forms polls. This new feature introduces correct answer choices to polls within Teams meetings and will roll out across Microsoft Teams desktop, mobile, and web. The new update will make poll creation fluid, as frictionless as possible, and gives presenters control over their meeting experience. Rollout will begin in mid-April and be completed by late April. How will this affect your organization? Presenters will be able to mark a correct answer for their multiple choice polls in Teams meetings when performing a quick knowledge check or engaging colleagues during a training session, and the correct answer choice will be shown after voting in the results card. This feature exists for Teams meeting polls and will pop up as a window on the screen. Correct answer choices can be selected on multiple choice questions only. Correct answer can be a single option or multiple if multiple answers is enabled. Improved search experience in the participant roster, Microsoft Teams. We are expanding the search experience for Teams meeting attendees who wish to examine the participant roster when using Teams Desktop or Teams on the web. This feature update does not apply to Teams Mobile. Rollout will begin in late March and should be completed by mid-April 2021. How will this affect your organization? From the search box in the roster, users can now search in meeting participants and take action on them. They can continue to search for participants outside meeting and request that they join the meeting. Interesting. So it's going to change from invite external people to a search bar, and you'll be able to search for people who you maybe invite as well. We'll see. New experience of the participant roster. Microsoft Teams. We are changing how the participant list is displayed for the lobby. In meeting, presenters and attendee participant sections in Microsoft Teams meeting, desktop clients, and Teams on the web. This message is associated with roadmap ID 80385. This change is rolling out late March through mid-April. How will this affect your organization? A maximum of 20 participants for each of the sections will be displayed in the initial view, with an option to drill in and view all participants within that section. In the lobby view, meeting organizers can review the full list before admitting all into the meeting. The roster will display details of up to 260 of the most active participants in the meeting, arranged in alphabetical order. There are no changes to the participants action menu. Announcing retirement of Compliance Manager Classic in the Service Trust portal. As announced both in product February 4th, 2021 and via documentation, we will be soon retiring the Compliance Manager Classic from Microsoft Service Trust portal. We recommend using Compliance Manager within the Microsoft 365 Compliance Center, the specialized workspace for compliance, privacy, legal, and risk officers. It has improved It has an improved user experience, the ability to extend Compliance Manager uh, to use across your assets, and enhance workflow and assignment options. We are committed to continually enhancing the solution capabilities for Compliance Manager in the Microsoft 365 Compliance Center. Review and assess before May 26, 2021. How will this affect your organization? Customer data will not automatically transfer over to the new Compliance Manager solution when Compliance Manager Classic is retired. Customers who are managing compliance activities in Compliance Manager Classic will need to move their data, including assessments and controls, to the new Compliance Manager solution in the Microsoft 365 Compliance Center. Global administrators, compliance administrators, and compliance data administrators should go to compliance.microsoft.com and sign in. Threat, profanity, and harassment trainable classifiers available in new languages. Microsoft 365 apps. Microsoft 365 compliance solutions provide machine learning classifications through trainable classifiers. Built-in models for threat, profanity, and harassment can now support detection for 7 languages in addition to English in a preview. Chinese simplified, French, German, Italian, Japanese, Portuguese, and Spanish. Public preview late March through mid-April. If you have an existing policy which uses threat, profanity, and or harassment, trainable classifiers, any matches found in English as well as in the 7 newly supported languages will be detected. Okay, that might be the last one. I'm clicking up and it's not. So let's close that. I just scroll up. And that's it for updates. Oh boy, a lot of updates this week. A lot of updates. End of the month, I guess they're pushing updates. So let's talk about some news. So I guess the biggest thing right now is that the exchange hacking that went on this past month. So this is just an article about there's a potential for a lot of cyber claims because tens of thousands of Microsoft Exchange services and business and organizations everywhere are out of date and not kept up to date, and so there's a liability there. So especially if you're public facing, like a company like Facebook or Instagram, a social media site that has customer information and like a lot of, well, not customer, but a lot of user information, and your emails gotten hacked, that is not a good times. So I mean, keep your Microsoft Exchange updated, or alternatively, just migrate to Exchange Online. It by and large is one of the most stable of the services. I've not ever seen it where Exchange Online has cratered to the point where emails are not getting delivered. So I would recommend Exchange Online. SharePoint Online, especially the modern UI, be a toss-up. Use as much out-of-the-box stuff as you can, because the customizations don't always work, even though you go to the specifications that Microsoft is publishing. There's just a lot of flexibility and a lot of updates there. Well, thank you so much for watching. We'll go back to the title screen here. I'm going to try to be doing this every day on, you can catch us, well, not every day, every Monday, every week, I should say. You can catch us live on Facebook, Twitch, YouTube, hopefully Daily Motion and D-Live soon. those feeds. I'm not sure if they were working today or not. You can also listen us to as a podcast on Apple, Google Podcasts, and Spotify. I'll try and get this episode uploaded as soon as possible. Thanks for watching.